Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Commons. I'm LD Demola, and to my right,
Maya Siobhan.
Emma LaRouge.
And you're Suji?
House of Commons.
House of Commons. Choco.
Choco.
What you need, dude?
You guys are so funny.
That boy be over there rewinding them things. Today's topic. Sorry, bruh. Today's topic was suggested by Nikki S. Right? I want to say your last name. I don't want to mess it up. Nikki S. Right? Her question was, do black people have higher expectations when doing business with black-owned establishments? So basically, do we want too much from black businesses, or how do you guys think that question sounds? What do you bring from that question?
I mean, I think that I think we look at each other like we hold each other to this like a high standard, and then there's another expectation we expect when we share our monies with each other. So it's like we already look at each other like, we look good. And I think it happens when we see each other in other elements around other cultures. It's like, when we watch Family Feud, for example, we always rooting for the black couple. But if they do something wrong, it's like, oh, come on, you know the answer to that question. But when we share our money, I think you walk into a beauty salon, a beauty supply store, and it's owned by a black person. It's like you almost look at it like, is this real, or is it clean? Are they doing the books? And like you go through this whole rigmarole, but yet you walk into that similar beauty supply store, and there's an Asian that doesn't even speak to you, like but we still accept that their quality is going to be better, even if they treat us like crap. And then too, like when, let's say if you have someone cater your wedding, and a friend of mine celebrated his mom's 50th birthday, and he hired a really great catering company, recommended in DC, and it was like they expected everything. Like they did a great job, but the guests were like, well, can we take plates home? It was just like way to the left. Mind you, and they spent a pretty penny for it to happen, but like certain stations weren't correct and that kind of thing. So it was like everyone else had something to say, like, oh, well, they're not dressed. It was just like we hold each other, instead of looking at the good part of it, it's like we expect everything to be perfect. But other cultures, we just accept anything. So I think definitely we hold each other to a high, almost unattainable expectation.
I don't think it's even holding each other to high expectations. I think that it's sometimes an aspect of jealousy. I would put it to I mean, that's my opinion. I believe we already have this existence of self-hatred. We never want to see our own doing better. We never want to see our own person in a higher level than we are. And the support aspect of actually supporting that individual, it's like hesitance. It's like, I'm not sure if I really want to go in there because I don't know if they're doing this right or if they're doing that right. We're so quick to judge our own of all the negativities that could exist in their business establishment. But then we'll be quick to walk into other cultures' establishment as, excuse my French, effed up as it is. And we'll have no complaints about it. We'll be quick to take out our money and spend it in this establishment and don't complain. And sometimes they don't even treat you good. Sometimes they don't even care when you walk through the door because they know you're going to keep coming back. But then you walk into your own establishment and they will still give you the great customer service, be so nice to you, but then you are still in this position of not really appreciating the fact that they are even doing something that is their own. And you're not even appreciating the fact that they are of your own color. So now you are hating them for being in the position that they're in rather than appreciating the services that they're offering. So now you have all this expectation. Well, you know what, I'm supporting your business and I'm your brother and your sister and you need to bring it all the way up here and this and then they have the audacity to ask for discounts and negotiation. But then you work into other facilities that tell you the price, it is the price and you just pay. Why is it that way? To me, it's extreme stupidity, It's like, it needs to change. And I'm sorry to say, but if you're black and you walk into my facility and I'm giving you great service, and you still feel like I need to bleed blood out of my eyes for you to appreciate what I'm offering, there is a deeper issue with you not knowing that. That's the problem as to why the black community continues to suffer, because of people like you that continue to think the way you think, that feel that it's okay for me to walk into an Asian store and give them my money, or a Spanish place, or Indian liquor store. But when I go into the black man's liquor store, I feel like, oh, why is the price this? Or better yet, go rob the black man's liquor store. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but it's really sad.
I'm not saying I disagree with anything that you guys are saying, because I do agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. One thing I will say is, when I think about when I was growing up, I think about the business that my dad did with, forget black, just Nigerians. I'm not gonna go to black yet. We'll get to black in a second. When we talk more, but just Nigerians, just dealing with Nigerians. And could it be that maybe you guys are right, but then from another perspective, there's a certain experience that you may get from them that may warrant you to feel a certain way about this group. Maybe if when we make statements like, oh well, I don't know if the quality is going to be the same. I don't know if this is going to be the same. Could it be that at times the quality is not as good? Could it be at times that there are shortcuts made by us? Could it be at times that we don't really measure up? So these are the things that you also want to keep in mind as well. I do agree that it's a level of self-hate or whatever, but at the same time, let's be real. I think we kind of got the game flipped, where we're running a race. A lot of times when the black business so people actually are able to open up a black business. We kind of like take for granted what it takes to even run a business and to run a black business. So oftentimes I think we get caught up in like, well, they need to be doing this and doing that. Give them credit and give them the kudos just for even having it, and support them in that, I think, as well. So I think we get caught up in trying to judge and this and that, but then there are different sides to it. There's a reason why you react the way you react, and there's also, I think that we need to encourage these people who are trying to do these businesses, because it's not easy at the same time. And also, you as a black person, it's natural to want another fellow black person to give you a hookup. White folks hook each other up. Other races hook each other up. So it's understandable. It's true.
It is. We're not negotiating the price.
Yeah.
It's like extremities. Though.
Yeah, but I think that issue that we have.
We're always so quick to ask for discount.
But I think the issue, the perspective that we're doing this, it's Toni Morrison calls it the white gaze. We're trying to get a hookup. I want to get a hookup. Black folks talking about, I don't want to get involved with nepotism. White folks do nepotism all day, every day. They do hookups. That's how they run their. That's what they do. So I think we just need to just be careful how we say things, and that's my thing.
I'm gonna say it from both the African American experience, the African Brit experience, the African experience. The fact of the matter is, and I say this all the time, when people say you're stupid, I don't think black people are real about who they are in the world and their role in the world. Do I expect more from a black business? I actually expect a lot less. And the reason why I say that is because I know what it takes to start a business, no matter who you are. Number two, the economy we operate off is one trillionth of the slice of the pizza.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, a black person's life is survival money to begin with.
Yeah.
So there's no way I can expect your business to operate like a business banked by 4 billion banks. And
exactly.
It's just me personally, I expect a lot less from a black business than I would expect, because I know the fact of the matter is you don't even operate on an economy that you control, right? At all.
You're independent.
Exactly. We're talking about trade. Fine. If I give you this and you braid my hair, we cool on that, because that's a real organic economy. But anything that has to do with you, we live in Los Angeles, California. I might be exaggerating, but in a 50-mile radius, there's probably like 3 black barbershops. Because it is that hard to start a business anywhere, talk less of Los Angeles.
That's true.
You know, so I'm coming in as a customer because I know, number one, you are my only option. Number two, I need you to survive.
Right.
Because I cannot go anywhere else.
Right.
You know, so, like, I'll take, for example, this talk show. Ever since we've started, people have said, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? And I haven't made a statement because I know you're not going to go anywhere. It sounds rude and mean, but because I know what it takes to start a business and what it takes to do something like this, you're going to hunt and hunt and hunt and hunt before you find another option in the black experience. I'm going to give you a quick statement. I worked for a Jewish guy, my previous job, and he told me this blatantly. He was one of the coolest dudes I knew, but he told me this straight up. He says, as a black man in your community, you don't have to start the business, just start a business. So you don't even have to start the right business.
Start a business.
Just start a business, and you are already the best provider in your community because, and from my perspective, it is because we are not real about how we survive in this world. For example, Nigeria. I always use Mama Christopher as an example. God bless Mama Christopher Festa. Mama Christopher sells rice. Whenever I'm sitting down with PhD holders in Nigeria and I'm telling them that I value her more, they think I'm crazy. When I asked somebody in Nigeria, I said, you know, because we brag about PhDs and degrees all the time. And I said, who's more important to this society? The bus driver or the doctor? And they were like, are you stupid? The doctor. And I said, okay, that's fine. Now let's do this in Lagos State, right? The most populous city in Africa. Let's put both professions on strike on the same day. The doctors and the bus driver. What is going to affect this economy more? What is going to affect this society more? You have your points. Yeah, fool.
Yeah.
But your eyes are so focused on the wrong thing and the wrong reality, you're not finding out what is actually taking place in your society.
Yeah.
And in the black experience worldwide, we are based on an economy that we don't even control. So there is Oscar So White. I'm sorry to tell you, the Oscar movies, the budget for an Oscar movie is like 10 billion zillion. You know, the budget for a black movie is not close, so there's no way you gonna be there. And when they open that door for you to be there, you already know the role you're gonna play. So the fact is,
so sad.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. I think I was gonna kind of piggyback off of what you said and what you started with. I'm not gonna say that my expectation is high. I just kind of I like us to represent ourselves well.
I hear that.
You know what I mean? Like I actually, the first time in LA, I found I love beauty supply stores. And in clothing stores, but I walked in, I felt like it was like Christmas or like just time stopped. I walked in, there was a guy, this African American guy, it was like a barber shop. And I was like, oh, it's a barber shop back here. So I was like, hey, I'm looking for some spray or whatever. And he comes around. I just knew, this is really bad. I just knew some Asian man was going to come out of some little cut, right? The store looked a complete mess though. Like it was very unorganized. But I took him for face value. So when he came around, I was like, wow, like you own it? I said, you know what? I'm moving, but I promise you, I'm going to come all the way back here to support you, right? And it's so funny. So I bought what I bought. I actually bought something extra. Got to the register, biggest day. I do not accept credit. It was like nothing on credit. And I looked at the sign. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, credit cards? He said, no. He said, you know how we come in here and they want, but it was biggest day, right?
Oh my God.
It was so funny. So I bought my thing and I bought my spray and I told him, I was like, I really appreciate it. And he was like, oh, if you need somebody that needs their hair cut, he gave me his card. This girl comes in and was like, hey, Danny. And he's like, oh, your bag is in the back. Because I guess she was moving on in something. So like her laundry and I said, wow. Like this is not just a beauty supply store. This is a beauty supply store. I think he did like a notary and he cut hair.
But guess what? That man's a genius.
Let me tell you, and I loved it. And I told him, so I came back again. And I like to call people by their first names because it makes it personal. And I said, well, listen, does someone do your books? Is literally like he had papers, and I know how, you know, no disrespect to my brothers, but when guys are in business, they're not so like organized, which is why you have the secretarial part of, you know. So he said, yeah, he was like, sis, like I'm doing the best I can, but I saw like his bills and stuff, and I said, well, maybe you can ask one of the girls that come in here, because I saw a few of them, to maybe kind of help you organize. But I felt like, I said, wow, it actually made me feel good. I critiqued it in a way where I said, wow, like I really want him to be better at his business. And I know he's doing what he can in it. But it really, really, really made me feel not just that it was a black person, but it was a black man. That was like money to me.
This is what I was also going to say. I think sometimes, I know it's difficult for us to invest in our business because, of course, we have so many hurdles that we have to overcome. The finances doesn't come to us easily. But I think sometimes just taking the time, whether it's just a little investment, it can just be in the organizational aspect
to make it a little bit more.
To make it look presentable, to make it look welcoming, makes a difference.
It does.
In terms of not just limiting yourself to just accepting cash only because you don't want to pay the fees to the credit card company. I mean, just little things, because
like type the thing out and not write it.
I feel like it makes a difference. It honestly makes a difference. You know, presentation is everything. You know, when I walk into an environment, or if I walk into a facility or a business, and I see how disorganized everything is, if I have to like look, and to me that's not appealing. In as much as I want to support you as my brother or sister, I'm gonna find it hard again to come back. You know,
it cheapens the value of the whole store.
Even though your value is really not cheap,
right,
it makes it look cheap. So I think investing in a little bit more into our businesses, and I'm not saying that you have to spend thousands of dollars. There are little creative ways you can spend just a little bit of money and make your business look very welcoming and presentable. And a lot of us don't do that. Especially, I'm sorry, some of those African stores that I have been to. I'm sorry, organization is something that you guys need to work on. And another thing I will say is, this is to more of my Africans, it's not an obligation for me to walk into your store. Granted that, let's say it's a few of you guys that exist, but customer service is also key. And a lot of African people don't have that and don't know what customer service is. You walk into a store, they won't even say hello to you. You're asking them a question, they're answering you as if you did something wrong to them. So it's like little things just needs to be tweaked for the business to be, you know.
I hear and I agree with what you're saying. I think kind of goes back to what he's saying. You don't really have any options like that, and they're aware of that. So that's a part of it. There's an excuse of behavior sometimes, but they're aware of the fact that when I was living in Davis, when I was in college, how many African stores were in the area? There's only one African store that ever used to go to in Sacramento.
You have to go there.
You know you're going there. You're not gonna drive an hour to Oakland. You're gonna go right here in Sacramento and go to that store. So they're aware of those things. One thing I will say is, and just to support these black African-owned businesses. Number one, it's not easy. I do agree with the fact that there's some simple things that you can do, like print it out and put it up, that make it easier for you. But remember, like he was saying, these are all your funds. This is all you alone. It's all your mind. So, you know, respect time, respect evolution, respect growth. You know, it's not going to be overnight. I guarantee you, by God's grace, hopefully we will be all right. In 100 years, black businesses will look different than the way they look right now. And trust me, when I went to black college, I'm not going to name the school, but I went to a black college, and when I was going there, it was incredibly disorganized. And that's a business. Don't get it twisted. It's definitely a business, and it was incredibly disorganized. And and I think that's one thing I do agree with you on, but it's still, I feel it's still an evolutionary thing for us. I'm sorry, but it really is. There's some things that we can't change. There's things that we know better, but you know, if you're not where you're at, you're not where you're at. So, like we've talked about how in Nigeria or these other countries that don't have the technology and they do actually, but they don't really have the resources that we have in America. Yet they're trying to do something trying to like rush ahead to where they're not. So they're trying to copycat something that they're not there yet, but they're trying to copycat it. Respect the time, respect the space. It's going to take time. More black business got to come so people can see it. Okay, that's what I want to work on so I can build upon the next black business.
Right.
You're going to learn from the past to build. But how many black businesses have we had? How far away are we from, civil rights? How far, it's gonna take time. These things take years upon years upon years, and we talk about other groups that are really successful, like living in the Bay Area. You go downtown Oakland, you see, Asian banks everywhere. And one thing I will say is, so you have
Go to Koreatown. It looks like Korea. It does not look like LA.
It's a different mentality.
Like, what does that say?
I think that because of a lot of their story and their narrative is a little bit different from our narrative. So I kind of give it a pass. But I do agree with one other thing though. I do, as far as damn, I lost my train of thought. But y'all go ahead. You'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
You was gonna go there. I was ready. You had me.
Yeah. It goes back to what I always say. We had an episode, Nigerians in America are broke, right?
Yeah.
And when people watched that episode, they were like, what are these idiots talking about?
I'm confused.
Nigerians are very educated and we have money.
They missed the whole
To
point.
me,
Because
they
your
missed the whole
education
point.
doesn't mean that
They missed the whole point.
Right.
And I asked a specific question then. I said, this is two things, right? Number one, if I'm a Nigerian, if I'm a black kid graduating college, and I'm like, okay, I want to work for a black employer, how many options do I have? That's number one. Number two,
Wow.
if I'm a Nigerian educated man, right, and I work for the city or whatever, and my son needs a reference,
Wow.
can I write my name on his paper and slide it to the boss, and that son gets a job?
Right.
Probably no.
Yeah.
So you broke.
Yeah.
Because you don't dictate the future of your success.
Yeah.
You're an employee, that's fine, but your foundation is not yours like that.
Yeah.
Right, you can never be.
The skills are good. Your education is great. Dictatorship, though,
Yeah.
if we're going to brag, let's just understand that that's a flaw that we don't have.
Yeah.
But this is one thing I'm going to say. It goes back to the standard at which you play. The reason why I said I expect less is because if I've experienced Macy's and I want to go to another black,
Macy's.
it's just probably not going to happen.
Yes.
Because I know the funding behind the Macy's.
Yeah.
That's one.
It's mass.
Mass. Another thing that a lot of people don't understand about business is in the black community, you will hear, Dangote is very rich, Oprah is very rich, Jay-Z is very rich, right? A lot of individual success, a lot of individuality,
Oh, those are anomalies.
right? But when you look at the Asian community,
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That's deep.
it is a bunch of people
Yeah.
that own one building.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, exactly. When I was in high school, I remember specifically this kid whose dad was Hispanic, and his dad mowed lawns, right? And he clowned this dude forever. Your daddy, blah 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 blah. We met again. It's a group of our friends, right? And some of us, graduated college, whatever. And we were having a conversation, and one of the black dudes talked about student loans and debt. And the Hispanic kid asked him. This kid is not educated, right? He asked him, what school did you go to? And he says, I went to such and such school. And he laughed and says, the school that you owe money, I mow their lawn. The school you owe money, I mow their lawn. And I say, this is when I'm coming, this is when I'm going to be done, this is when you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
Right? So, from the outside, the affluence looks like, oh yeah, success. But do you dictate your time? No. Do you dictate how much money comes in your pocket? Do you really dictate it?
Yeah.
And you're only as strong as your community.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
looking at all of the communities and having, patronized different communities, I think we as a people don't trust each other. Right? So because we don't trust each other, just generally, if someone starts something, you don't trust it, right?
Exactly.
I see a lot of nail salons, the Vietnamese people or whatever, and how they open up a salon and then there's like a restaurant right next to it, right? Especially back home. And they import, different people. And some of the people you can tell don't have papers. So they're just kind of in there earning their keep, and they get with each other. They eat in the back, they sleep in the back, there's babies in the back. But they trust each other to make this thing happen. But us as a, black people, African, whatever you want to call us, we don't trust that. We don't trust that when we go to a hair salon, and I remember this when I was growing up, because I was at the hair salon every other week, and my stylist, you know, she hired other stylists, booth, you know, and then she started to sell products, and it's like, well, you know, whose product? And I mean, they're critiquing it. What's in it? What's that? And she's like, oh no, I just started this natural thing, you know, or she started selling like different, like brush, just anything. Like it started as a salon, and then it was nail polish, just the whole thing, and it was like, I'll just go get it next door. Or the nail tech, I remember this, the nail tech would have girls come into the salon with the nails on that they got from the Asian nail salon, but they wanted her to paint it a certain way. They didn't even trust her enough. Mind you, she has the same skill set as this place that you went to and gave them your $20. And then you're complaining about, they don't even have a license. You're complaining about how much she's charging you to build you, you know, you want a castle on your nail. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute. Like, they don't even have the skill to do this. But because you don't trust me enough to, you know, it's like, you don't trust my professionalism. Now, on the flip side of it, to kind of piggyback off of what you said, Indy, we don't take the time to be top notch. You know, as a kid, my mom said, you have to be 150%, and then another 10 to even be accepted as anything. So, in business or whatever, like, you can't, unfortunately, we can't shortcut because we're competing with the Vietnamese community, and I don't want to put us against us, but because we don't trust each other, it's like these people can half-ass it, but we have to be top notch to even be considered okay.
Now let me say something. Right? I agree with you to the business moral extent, but going back to the black community of not starting the business and starting a business, right? My barber is in, shout out Tibbs, is in Pacoima, California, right? It's the hood.
Yeah.
Right? But I think one thing about life is when you're realistic about what you are and where you are, success is almost destined, right? Tibbs knows I'm in Pacoima, right? I'm dealing with black customers, right? He knows all these things. So what Tibbs does, Tibbs only charges one exact amount for a haircut. Since 1996, Tibbs been charging $8 for a Caesar, and it stayed there no matter how the economy goes up or down, right? The neighbor charges 25. The other guy charges 20. But he's, keep it simple, stupid. He simplified it to the fact that when you come in, you know you're only getting the Caesar. And the Caesar costs $8. I don't care if you say I cut hair like useless, whatever. I'm going to cut you clean, but I'm only giving you a Caesar. $8. It says it right there, $8. But your head is like this or like this. Because he knows in the black community, right, that is just what it's going to be. Yeah. If we're going to have to start, I'm not going to negotiate with you. Right? Yeah. And I know if $20 is across the street, right, they're going to cut 10 people and get $200. I'm going to cut, what, 10 people and get $80. But I know because I'm charging $8, 100 people are going to come. So I own their business. They can't really go anywhere because that guy can't afford to charge $20. So because I know the reality of my community, I'm going to work it in the favor of my community. Because it's not just me not being 150, but they don't want to be 150 with me.
Can I
just play the game that's a big play.
That's a good strategy. Shout out.
He's winning.
Real quick, you can go in.
Okay.
The competition thing. We're competing with each other.
Yes.
The part of the problem is if I see somebody who's doing something, it is a crabs in a bucket, but it's so deep within us. We're always trying to compete with one another. It's always one-upping, and it's like that we always miss the point, and other groups just look at us and laugh and say they don't even get it. And I don't want to veer too much off the subject, but I think I think what also is heartbreaking is that when I look at human beings as a whole, your skills and your natural skills and talents is your value, and that's your dollar value, but it's not your value as a human being, but it's what is going to garner you income. You know, whether it be your smarts, your street smarts, your intelligence, your talent, whatever it may be, from singing to business acumen. So I think that everybody plays a role, and we have so much rich culture and personality to offer the world. when we come together and we play our role, then all these things will make sense. There's somebody in our community that understands business. Bring him in, but instead we're trying to compete with the next person instead of all coming together. There's different roles to play. I may not be the person that's supposed to be behind the scenes. Maybe I'm supposed to be the person that's supposed to be in front of the camera. Respect that. You're not supposed to be in front of the camera. Sit behind the camera and that's just it.
I see that shade low key, but it's all good. Come on, bro. Yo. I'm there. You got up there.
Let's not continue.
No, but I was gonna say, just to piggyback on everyone.
Please, take us there, please.
What I was gonna say also, just to piggyback on what you guys were saying, in terms of the trust and the competition, I think it's the selfishness that we have, the selfish mentality that we have. We never want to do this whole aspect of partnership. I always give this example that a bunch of Spanish people live in a one bedroom, have several kids in that one bedroom, and they'll manage and save and live there with no problems. Put 2 or 3 black people in a room. Everyone is gonna start telling you what problems it is. I can't do this, I can't deal with that, and it's like we cannot work together. We always look for negativity within each other. We always fight each other. That's why we can't even have businesses together. And I always say that sometimes 2 heads are better than one. That you might have a skill and the other individual has a skill that you can benefit from. It doesn't hurt to partnership is great, and so most people don't want to do that because they have this selfish thought of, okay, what I'm gonna make, my profit, but your profit, you don't even have the money to start. Bringing your money together and letting the other person bring their finances together might help the business. So I think if we start thinking more along the lines of partnership, it can help us a lot in business, and just getting away from the selfish thought of thinking that it's just it's me, it's my business. I don't care what you think, I don't care what you know, it's my idea, it's my business, I'm going to do it this way, and that's it.
Sorry.
No.
Another thing is, from our perspective, or from a lot of people's perspective, which I understand, not just blacks, but in general, the success has to be now, is what a lot of people focus on.
Yeah.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
And business is not like that.
Exactly. And I'm going to use this as an example, right? We might not get paid off this. We might not be the beneficiary of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But us doing this together is the next generation's success.
That's right. That's
a lot of people can't accept that.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I've said, I will never quit my day job because that bread be coming in. You know what I mean? But I know that day job is the financial aspect of it. It covers the finances. The unity we need is not money, because if you know business and I'm a lawyer and blah blah blah, when we come together, it's not money, right? But a lot of times the only reason why we come together is because of money, which is why nothing ever happens, right? So it's Macy's did not become Macy's overnight. Walmart did not become Walmart overnight. It was a small shop somewhere. A lot of these startups, Apple, in a garage somewhere, So,
but it's trust.
Exactly, it's trust. But another thing is. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Amy.
I just want to add though, I think another problem is that we're always so quick to throw each other under the bus. This goes back to the example, you can walk into an Asian facility, let's say for example, the aspect of doing nails. They won't have license, but they'll be in there doing what they need to do to get that money. And you walk into a black facility, and maybe they're in the process of getting their license and they're still trying to make money. A black person will be so quick to call whatever department they need to call to shut that business down. It's like, why? What are you going to benefit from destroying your own? You're only taking away from your community. I'm not okay with doing things the wrong way, but you don't know the struggles and the process that they have to go through. Until you're in their shoe, stop trying to destroy others. I am not for that, honestly. And I have seen that happen.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen so many times. Oh, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to call them. It's going to piss me off, yes.
I'm just going to be honest.
Okay.
Between African Americans and, I'll say Nigerians. I'm not going to say Africans. Between African Americans and Nigerians. Okay. I would say African Americans support themselves business-wise.
Yes, I'll agree.
Way more than Africans.
When we talk about
way more.
Definitely, and I don't disagree with that. When we talk about Africa, there's so many underlying disgusting issues that exist, and we can pretend about it. And in terms of support, we are like the worst at it. Okay, so that's a whole different conversation for another day. You can hate me all you want, but most of you people will be putting your nose up, having a lot to say about a business, and you don't even know the struggle that individual went through. Because they might not be educated and they decided to open a grocery store, you think you're better than them, but meanwhile you're getting a paycheck, and then that paycheck that you're getting, that sums up to a year, they probably make that in a month. So please, before you start talking, think twice. And just because you have a degree doesn't mean that you are successful. I'm sorry to say that.
I was going to say that having been on the receiving end, I'm a singer, so I've done weddings and parties and different things like that. And I notice when I've done, for example, when I was home in DC, I was singing at a Christmas party, and one of the owners of one of our contractors came up and said, hey, my daughter's having a party. Would love to book you for it, and I was like, okay, great. At the time I had a management, so I had my manager there, and they did the contract like within 2 days. Mind you, a contract. The guy only heard me sing like one song, maybe two, because it was a whole band of us, and got the contract, and I thought it was an error. I said, how many? I said, oh, he must have put too many zeros. And my manager said, no. Don't cheapen yourself. I was so used to working for, $100, like something really low with my own people, because I felt like, well, they don't value, what your service is. Or as my mom says, you can't unsing the song. Once you've done the show, it's done. Like you can't take it. There's no return on that. So nevertheless, I signed the contract, sent it back, asked me what did I need, who's coming with you. It was everything set up. I was like, wow. And I had to drive all the way to Chantilly, which is really, really far from where I was. I said, wow, like if I was dealing with my own, someone's grandmother passes and they're like, I really need you to, her favorite song or whatever. It's like, oh, they don't even talk about what you charge. So I wait in the conversation and I'm like, okay, well, how do we work out the residual? I've used words to try to make it not seem like, but the fact that you can't even, you're asking me to do a service. And I get this a lot when dealing with African Americans. It's like, you want a band to come and perform something, a band, and you don't even, there's no contract. You don't think about, and I'm not saying all of us, but there's a great number of, when I've done, for let's just say other races, I'm not just going to say white, but other races where they understand the business part of it. I'm a black performer, and it's like, oh, okay, well, this is what she charges, or is this enough? I've even heard that.
Can I just give, okay. Let me give you a framework. In the United States of America, most people, especially in certain areas, are not doing very well financially. A lot of people are not doing very well financially. Even people who have good jobs, if they didn't make good financial decisions, like really good, smart financial decisions, they're probably not doing very well. And now, for black people, just multiply that by 20,000. Okay.
So it's true though.
So when we're talking
we
about,
always haven't been doing well though. Keep it real.
But
we're survivors.
We're survivors, but
worldwide too.
But it's when we're talking about that money. I have a friend of mine who does wedding planning as well.
So sad.
And she's had to stop her business basically dealing with black folks, and catering, because she also cooks, and she's like, they never really got the money to do it. And that's the thing, and it goes back to what he was talking about earlier. You gotta have the capital behind you to do these things. You want a wedding, you're trying to do a wedding, you want to do something that you're not able to do, but you want that, you don't have the budget for it. You know what a lot of people do, you have the budget for a $5,000 wedding, you're trying to do $80,000 wedding. And you run into these problems constantly, and she's like, I have to get out of business because I cannot, it's just not going to work.
When you discover white people, you live.
Let me tell you this.
And it goes back to the UWA. We don't have it. We don't have the money for that.
We ain't got the luxury money yet. Money, when they say money ain't a thing, we ain't there yet. Yeah. That's a fact. And here's another thing about
as a collective, no.
I'm going to sing this from the Best of Both Worlds, Jay-Z and R. Kelly, and I want you to complete it for me.
Oh, God.
This is business. It ain't personal. And I know.
And we mix that.
But here's the thing, though. And the reason why it's business and not personal because if you want me to do a catering service for you and you pay me $200,
that's the service.
you gonna get $200.
Yes, exactly.
On the flip
I don't
side,
care if you're black, pink, silver, or green.
Yeah, that's it.
Here's the thing I will do though, because I know the situation we're most likely both in. I will at least I will give you love.
Yeah.
I will make you feel love. But that $200 that you paid,
Yeah.
you're going to get puff, which I get in.
Yeah.
but on the flip side, you've gotten. I think to kind of piggyback on what you said earlier, you pay $2,000 and get $200. That's the trust factor because we don't match. So I think that's where
sometimes
it's
happens
like,
as well.
wait a minute, I paid this and the cake is from the grocery store.
Because
I think it's
when
also
we have money, we don't,
corners.
when we have, I noticed that when we have the money, it's not a problem.
yeah, it's not a problem.
But when we don't have the money, that's when we start to get a little funny.
I'm
But
the same
sometimes
thing.
it's not always the case that we don't have the money. Don't like she was saying. You pay the $2,000 for the service and you get a $200 service. That's because this business owner is not really doing their due diligence that they need to do in order to provide great service. And guess what's gonna happen? That person that you did not provide that great service to is gonna give you a bad review.
Word of mouth is our community.
And it's gonna keep going on and on. The next thing you know, you're out of business. So sometimes it's not
So I was
always
trying to give you a tip.
yeah,
absolutely.
it can go both ways.
And nothing I want to bring up though, this is what I do a lot, right? If I go to someone, because I'm not a really great gauger of good business service, because I don't really go out there and get what you need your car tire fixed. There's not that much transaction that I do anyway. So I'm not gonna sit there and be like, that's bad business service. I don't just give me what I need and I'm getting out of it. But let's say I go to the mechanic, right? And the mechanic charges me $350 for my service, whatever. I'll give him $380 because I know even if he did a bad job right now, next time I come, he's going to do a better job. If I pay, you see what I'm saying? Because there's a certain silent respect.
Yes.
People understand once you put them in that space.
That's what you hope.
Yeah.
No, that's what I know.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you hope because sometimes people take advantage of the fact that I'm a black woman and you braided my hair, and I've done this a lot, and you charge me $160 and I give you $200 because I understand, or it's like and the next time it happens to my mother almost 100% of the time. She tips and tips and she tips the whole salon, and then it's like, can you take us home? Okay. You just got, it's like, wait a minute, and this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Because you take advantage.
That's where you draw the line. I'm sorry.
I got one. Because so many out of, 50 customers that day, this one person, and that happens. Like, actually, when I was home, the girl used to braid my hair. I really turned it to her, like, personal, cab service. Because I loved her. I love her to life. But she would come to my mom's house, we would cook and talk and I would take her all the way back home and then stop her by her sister's house and
really?
And I'm like,
you got too much time on your hands.
But no, I mean at the time, but no, this was back. But I felt like, wow, like I appreciate her and I understood her struggle. She's a student, and like
in
so.
that case, that's different.
But it had gotten a little too much.
Yeah, you have to draw that line.
So I think it's. But I try even when I patronize black establishments, I really I have an expectation, but I understand it. So I'm like, I try to say encouraging words or, like, hey, how's everything going? You guys doing good? Well, whatever that is, because I know the next person that's walking in the door is like, can this be $2 instead of $3?
Right. It's so irritating.
So you try your best to be remembered. So the next time you come back into that store.
But now what you're asking for, is it fair? I'm not saying it's not fair for you to get what you deserve and what your worth is, but at the same time, remember what we started off talking about. This group, we don't have the financial.
Here's the thing,
like security.
It goes back to you being real
about where you are. Yeah,
because
that's my
if this same couch is a talk show, and after this talk show, it is a hair salon where a girl sits right here and gets her hair braided. That is the reality of where you are when you're in control of everything.
And
when you try to play a standard, you're not at Oscar So White. You're not gonna get there. It takes tiempo. And if the worldwide trade, valuable trade, is dollar, and we know we don't control that. Why we try and use that as the standard?
Wow.
You gotta use something else, because until you control that, you're not gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to be realistic about where you are, because I know this should be a better set, but the point of this is to get information out.
Yeah.
As long as we're doing that, that's fine.
Yeah.
So when somebody else sees this and has more paper than this, you can go do something that's a lot better than this.
I already know the answer to this question. So what ends up happening when we why is it that we can't see that? What is happening when we decide to, like, oh well, we're supposed to be doing this? What's happening?
Affluence.
Let me say what you. I'm sorry.
What's
What
the
you
question?
saying?
The problem is, I'll turn around and answer. So basically, I'm gonna have to answer. So basically,
What? I thought you were asking us a
I can
question.
answer it by saying Gucci Man is a better businessman than any black educated lawyer.
I think we're getting.
Facts.
What are we getting caught up in? I think we're getting caught up in the wrong things. I think.
As
Control.
business.
Yeah. So what do we have to offer? What do we control?
I get you.
What can we do?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
like to come together and
Yeah.
make. Wow,
When
we just can't get together.
Yeah.
You know,
Getting together is gonna take time.
And then Asians and other groups are not afraid of doing what they. It's all that whole we're stereotypically this.
They
They don't
cake.
care about
Yeah,
that.
So is the Mexican you clowning.
Yeah,
But then there's a complexity though with black folks stuff, because we don't want to look a certain way, and then at the same time,
mentioned it.
yeah, the white gays. But at the same time, I get that, but then you got to recognize, where are you for real? Because we got caught up in affluence and education. I said we're smart,
Yeah.
we're above this. I got my master, I got my doctor. This is the kind of lifestyle we're gonna live.
You still gotta say, are you employable or not?
Period.
Somebody else gotta say.
And then the irony behind that, the funny thing behind that is the way we're living these days, everything is going to start switching to more of a service-based type of system anyway. So you're going to have some sort of skill, trade, or something anyways. Most people don't have any money to begin with. So I just all these things, I'm just really fascinated, because we need to come together. We're not being real about ourselves. Then I think I don't want to go too far off into like entertainment and other things, but then you see your value being appropriated by everybody else.
Wow.
Yet you know what you have, and what you have, you don't use what you have. So it's about time for us to start using what we naturally have,
You know why though?
and being real about what we have.
Let me say one of the best, and we can conclude after. After.
She has something to say. I'm sorry.
I think.
Did you want to say something?
Go ahead.
Two of the best black businesses, right? Hip hop. I want to say hip hop 1st. Hip hop rappers, and I'm talking about the most thug ones.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Gucci Man. I'm talking about the one who raps about crack. All of that.
T.I.
The reason why I say that is because their inventory is right here, right? And they sell what comes out of their inventory. And all they need to do is live life and experience to have more inventory, right? They don't need to buy anything to have this inventory to sell. So it's one of the simplest business models, right? Another one is the church. We know that church is getting paper, right? The only thing is,
Let's not even go there.
I'm not even gonna go there because
That's another episode. That's part 2.
I'm not even gonna go there because somebody said, the black
The
churches
Creflos
get that money and then put it in the bank that's not black, but that's a whole other topic. But the thing that you're asking, as far as the affluence, the higher blacks climb up that ladder, right? The more they want to deny.
That right there.
A lot of people are gonna get mad at this. The reality of where we actually are.
That's right.
You're not here.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not, because you don't control this.
Yeah.
You control here. So if you're affluent and you respect here, that's the way you can start bridging the gap. But as long as you keep denying that Gucci Man is a black business,
And you notice that they are trying to control that too, in which they do control.
of course.
Yeah, they actually
100%.
own.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
I think a
'Cause
white
they know
guy
what
that
time it
owns
is.
the word hip hop.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Huh?
He owns the word hip
Can we just
hop.
conclude on that?
It's a white guy
Oh,
that
God.
owns the word hip hop.
Hell, what you need to do? How? In my conclusion.
Wow.
Did you want to say something? My business is done.
I think we said it all.
In my conclusion, I don't do business with black people, but I do business with black people. I'm just being honest. I'm just be real. Especially Nigerians. I don't start any business as I know they have to. If I'm waiting for them to pay me, I will just die.
God.
Period. That's why this is a free pre-show because if I was like, can you please pay for episode, I would be dead. For real. But because I understand the foundation of business, my expectations are not too high because I know it's going to take a long time.
Right.
As soon as we determine what the trade value is, that's when commerce begins. Until then, you know, it's okay for us to be employees and set up the next generation to have some kind of, you know, business acumen and, you know, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
The internet is one great resource, you know, so it's helped a lot of African Americans, blacks, Nigerians, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But all in all, though, business within a community is extremely important. Community is extremely important, you know, and be real about yourself. And another thing that I wanted to mention when you said something is, a lot of times the reason why black businesses are not even as appealing when you walk into those businesses is because sometimes that person might not be a good business person. They're just the person who took a risk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
there's that one person.
Exactly.
That one person. 5 other people.
Exactly. You know, so all in all, though, things like this, panels like this is important, and there's a lot of people doing great business. A lot of people doing great business. As long as there's community, we'll be solid.
I think that we need to trust each other a lot more, and as we've been saying, it takes time. You know, I have 2 uncles that are in business. They've been in business, well, I have quite a few relatives in business, and they've been in business for 20 and 30 years because they understood how to feed the neighborhood, if that makes sense. So actually, a lot of my relatives, only the guys, because they do like refrigeration and stuff like that, their first job was working with my uncle. And they didn't get paid necessarily money. It was more like, I'm going to teach you how to fix this air conditioner so that you can really make some money. So that the test you take is real life. At the same time, I mean, he paid them to a degree, but he understood that. Shout out Uncle Jay. And, you know, he takes, you know, what he learns and spreads it out, even to the young kids in the neighborhood. And I think if we can get back to teaching each other, trusting each other, teaching each other, and understanding where we are as a community and understand where we're broken. And know that, guess what? When I walk into that hair salon or beauty supply, if certain things that I see are wrong, how about I offer a hand and not ask, how much are you going to pay me? I just want your business to be better. I want to tell my sister across town, hey, I actually went to a beauty supply store over here, you should go. And not say, oh, you know, the desk was dirty or, you know, something like that. I think if we can get back to like trusting each other and really building the business, even if it's a little bit, when you walk into it, if it's a catering, you know, thing, or if you go to a food establishment and it's not that clean, you know, instead of getting on Twitter and talking about, oh, you just take, you know, let us try to be encouraging to the business owner, you know, on how to maybe be better and not talk about it. Let's be about it, as they say. So I think we really, as a community, need to take a step back, survey the area, and see where you can be of some assistance. Doing some marketing or, you know, whatever you do. If you do web design, if you do, whatever you do, you can offer something. So I think that's what we should do as a people, period.
You know, respect to those that have their own businesses out there, because it's not easy, and to all those that are trying to have their own business. As you go through the journey, one thing I would say to all of us is we need to have this selfish mentality out of the window. Together, partnership is extremely important. The trust needs to exist, of course, in order to be able to partner with anyone. I always say 2 heads are better than one, of course, 2 good heads. You do have to survey who you partner with as well. But just having that selfish mentality out of the window helps a lot. Being open to receive criticism also makes a difference. Because sometimes
it's true.
Some business owners feel like they know it all, but meanwhile you really don't know it all. No human being ever knows it all. So you should be open to receive from other people advice on how to do things, whether you agree with it or not. But just listening can make a difference into your business. And also, we need to stop destroying each other's businesses. I'm honestly, I'm sorry. Just because they might not have the specific item that they need to have in place in terms of rules and regulations doesn't mean that they're trying to break the law. You don't know their struggle. You don't know the process that they have to go through. If you can walk into other cultures' business and still give them your money without no complaints, do the same for your people, and don't be so quick to call the law upon them. And I think just continuous support of each other will continue to create growth within our community. If that doesn't happen, then of course there are going to be less businesses, because if I open a store and those guys are not supporting me, who else is going to come in here? White person anyway, in essence, is not going to come in here, because it's true. They already have their own feelings about it. So support, selfish mentality needs to be out of the window. For the growth to continue to happen. But definitely don't be discouraged if you have plans of starting your own business. But as you do start that business, we know that the capital is extremely difficult to get. But please, that's no excuse for you not to provide great service either. Let's not get that confused. Just because I'm black and you're black and I walk into your facility doesn't mean that I should get a service that's crappy. I understand your struggle, but still say hello to me in a respectful way. And to all those people out there that do walk into black businesses and feel like, you know, they need to treat you like you're the god of all gods, I'm sorry. That's not how things happen. And sometimes some people just have bad attitude. They already have their struggle. Keep your bad attitude out of the door. Like, honestly. If you're not in terms of trying to support the person, then don't take your negativity into the environment. If you're mad about your life, find something else. I mean, that's...
what I just want to end with is black people, we just got to come together. This is a whole. I'm gonna get back into what we're talking about. I just want to just say, if we want to win, if we want to progress, if we want to grow, if we want to expand, we must come together. We got to stop competing with one another. We got to accept our roles. We got to accept our space. We got to accept a lot of things and ourselves, most importantly. And as far as the business thing goes, the reason why I brought that up first is because that's what's going to help us, being appreciative of what we have and what we have to offer to begin with. I don't even think that we even know half the time, or even appreciative of what we eat as an individual. And I'm not talking about stereotypical things. I'm talking about every one of us has something to offer. When I went to a black college, one thing that really stunned me, you know, especially living in California all those years and living in I just hadn't really been around that kind of diversity of black. And one thing I noticed is that if you haven't really been around it, black is not a monolith. It's not like black is one thing.
Yeah.
There's so many different types of black.
Wow.
I've been to a predominantly white institution and been to a black college. There's no difference. The only difference is that everybody's black. It's the same personality, it's just everybody's black. So understand that you have something to offer. There were those, because we have these images and stereotypes of who we are, and that is not a representation of the whole unit of black. And one last thing. Nobody's better than one another. We're all in the same situation. If you look at other groups, they understand that. They understand that we're all one. That whether I wear a suit, whether I wear a wife beater, a tall tee, a jersey, I am still a nigga. And you just need to be aware of that. And I think that, I hate to say that way, but it's the truth. It's the way, you're not a nigga, but you know what I mean. You're not, just know that you're black regardless of whatever's going on. Mm-hmm. So for me, as far as the business thing goes, we all know what we're supposed to do. I think that I don't need to tell you that we should support our own. That's a given. I don't need to tell you that black folks are not in a position to be arguing or putting each other down or not supporting one another. You already know that already, or you should know that already. I think that I should have to.
You said that's a given. I wanted to jump in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to cut you off.
So, but I think that you should know that already. But if you don't know that already, you shouldn't. So that's why I start off with us as a unit. No more crabs in a bucket. Let's start respecting each other. Let's start finding out what our skills and our talents are. There are a variety of skills that we have. It's not just a couple of skills. So let's hone in on that, build on that, because that's your business. That's your moneymaker. It's not just about opening up a shop. What do you have to offer as an individual? How are you going to garner income? Because all of us are aware of how we're going to garner income. How are you going to garner income? How are you going to make money? And I think that and then how are you going to make money, and how are you going to bring that to the table as a collective and help each other? So I think once we focus on that and get that going, we good.
How's the comments?
How's the comments?
Yes.
Was that helicopter part of a black business?